Good morning. We are in this wonderful week in between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, a week full of mitzvot where people are coming in all the time to get lulav and esrog. And we at our shul, our wonderful maintenance staff is already building our sukkah. So a lot of people have been asking us, how can we build a sukkah this year and have it as ventilated as possible for COVID purposes? So we're going to give you a few halachic principles. First of all, when you deal with the walls of your sukkah, how high does the sukkah wall actually have to be? And the answer is 10 tefachim, 10 hand breadths, which is about 35, 36 inches. If you want to be really strict about it, you could say 40 inches. So the truth of the matter is, if you have a wall that's this high on your sukkah, it's already kosher. Now you might say, yeah, okay, that might be a kosher wall, but it doesn't go up to the roof. It doesn't go up to the schach. It doesn't touch the schach. No problem. There's a rule called good asik, which means we imagine, it's a halachic imagination, that the wall goes up, 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 and actually goes all the way up to the heavens, but certainly it will hit the schach, and it's as if this is connected. So right there, you've already ventilated your sukkah a lot, because you have all this flow, this airflow coming in. But the truth of the matter is, you can even do better than that. You don't even have to put the tarp down on the sukkah, because this space here, halachically, is actually considered filled in. You see these series of ropes here. They are every 9, as long as every 3 tefachim there's another rope, and it's filled in, and we have one more rope that we're going to put over here, then this whole area is considered halachically filled in with the concept called lavud, and it's perfectly good. So with these two principles, you can basically have a completely open sukkah. One more thing, when I mentioned this thing being okay, there is a halachic preference to have it not only going horizontal, but also vertical. So if you could, after you do this, you also could just take some strong tape and tape it down every 9 inches. Going across, just put some really strong tape, and then according to all opinions of kosher, your sukkah will be good. Other ideas, I'm just giving some practical suggestions. You can buy lattice work, you can buy metal chain link fence. You can get this stuff from Home Depot. It's pretty cheap, and you can just line it up against here. You do have to zip tie it in, because if you don't zip tie it in and it can just fall down with the regular common wind, then it's not going to be kosher. So speaking about common winds, sometimes people like to say, oh, what if I just lay a sheet here from the top here? That is not kosher, because if the wind comes along and blows it back and forth, if it blows with what's called a ruach mitzuya, a common wind, it actually will not be kosher. Furthermore, the wall actually has to go all the way down. There can only be a length of 3 tefachim on the bottom that's open. Okay, another thing that some people have been trying to do, thinking creatively about using the different walls of their house to be one of the walls of their sukkah, is actually to use a wall of their house, but then they maybe have an overhang going over the place where the sukkah is. Now, if you have an overhang, which is over the schach which is under it is actually not kosher. It's not kosher schach. So the question is, does that invalidate your sukkah, because now your schach is not right up against the wall? And the answer is as follows. If your schach is within 3 hand breadths of the wall, then of course it's okay. We talked before about the concept called lavud, which means we consider that area to be closed. But even if it's bigger, and it can go, the overhang can go as far as 4 amos, approximately 6 feet out over the sukkah, what we have is a concept called dofen akuma, which means the curved wall. So we imagine as if the wall of your sukkah goes up, 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 and then it curves in. And this part's actually considered part of your wall. So that if you are underneath it, you can't actually sit underneath it, but we imagine as if the wall directly connects to the schach, to the roof, and the rest of your sukkah is 100% kosher. One more very important rule. Remember, a sukkah does not need 4 walls. A sukkah only needs 2 full walls and a little bit, about 7 tefachim, let's say about 25 inches. So if you have a kosher sukkah with 2 walls, again, you can have this lavud principle, these straps, you're going to be okay. And then the 3rd wall just has to be 7 inches. By the way, another application of this principle is, let's say you have a deck. Let's say you have a deck on your sukkah, out in your backyard, and your deck has a wall, And the wall itself of your deck is probably tall enough. You should measure it out, but it's probably about 36, 37 inches at least. And that is actually going to be kosher because actually the poles of that wall are going to be within 9 tvachim, and it's okay. So those are some of the rules, but basically, if you're using a combination of the concept good asik, which means we view the wall once it's 10 tvachim, or about 40 inches, as going all the way up, plus the series of straps, and you can do this, make it homemade, you can definitely make a very ventilated and 100% kosher sukkah. Wishing everybody a Chag Sameach.